It's a cloudy, overcast day here today at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, which means cool track conditions, high grip, and high speeds. And usually that culminates into a pretty doggone interesting and entertaining race. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome here to the Folds of Honor Quick Trip 500 at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, the D-shaped mile-and-a-half track, and one of the ones that we hope they never ever pave, because this is a war of attrition on tires. It comes down to grip, who has the best handling race car, and it's sure to be a wild one here today. Maybe one of our longer races of the season as well, as we are getting set for 82 laps of action, and this is going to be the second Speedway race where we do not run the 2019 rules package. The first one was a couple of weeks ago at the Manassas Speedway, and today no rules package, so we're going to see what's going to happen, and may the best man or woman in this field win. How about Blue Oval Automotive so far this season? 2 races, and already 2 of their drivers have gone to victory lane. J Millz a couple of weeks ago at the aforementioned Manassas Speedway, and last week it was J Lopes taking the checkered flag at Las Vegas. So far, they have had 2 winners with the 2 different rules package, the original rules package and the 2019 rules package. So they are definitely on the move, and so you got to wonder how long until we see T Wright in the 28 go to victory lane, the third car out of that Ford stable. We have a Ford on the pole for today's race as well. That's Levi McIntire in the 99. He will start alongside of Cole Baker in the 18. Baker, he's got his set sight not only on a victory today, but also to take the points lead over. He's second in the points, only 15 points back from last week's winner, J Lopes, who took over the points lead. Let's get that command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And so as the command is given here, and the Dodge Challenger pace car will lead the field around for their pace lap, let's give you what your top 10 the points standings look like coming into this race. As right now, as mentioned, J Lopes has a 15-point lead over Cole Baker. William Brock, hometown boy, comes down here to Atlanta. Not only a hometown boy as a driver, but hometown sponsorship of SunTrust Bank as well on his number 88. He's third in the point standings, only 23 points back. 25 points back is V Almariego in fourth. Zach Rogers, he lost the points lead after last week, drops to fifth, 27 points back. Mitchell Collins is sixth. Benny Watson currently in seventh. Ryan Brommer sits 8th, 9th is D Poteet, and Austin LaPlante currently sits in 10th. One thing that we need to document real quickly here too before I forget, as far as their previous winners, Lopez, last week's winner, he is first in the standings. Carter Friesen 16th, so right now their wins make them eligible for a playoff spot, but J Millz, who won 2 weeks ago, he has now dropped to 33rd in points, so right now that win at Manassas would not count towards a playoff spot. He has to be in the top 30 in the point standings for it to count. So we'll keep tabs on him during the course of this race as well. But here we go, getting ready to go racing at Atlanta. Sure to be a wild one. Buckle up tight. It's going to be a long race. Green flags in the air. Let's roll. Baker wasting no time, gets to the left rear quarter panel of Levi McIntire. He wants to lead the first lap of this race, get that valuable bonus point, and he is successful. Cole Baker going to lead lap 1. K Batson going to follow in line now to second. Charles Sandfer, who had a third place finish last week at Las Vegas, his best finish of the season so far. Right now he is in third, and here comes V Almariego in that 42, fourth in the standings. Team's been on a bit of momentum last couple of weeks. Ever since starting on the pole for the Daytona 500, they didn't win the pole, but they started on the pole because they were the winner of the first Gatorade Duel, and as a consequence, the inside line moved up, so he was the unofficial pole sitter for the Great American Race. Ryan Butcher right behind him there in the 24. Talk about a team that really needs some good luck to come their way, and that would be Northeast Motorsports. Right now, they're okay with a couple of their drivers. William Brock, third in the points. Austin LaPlante only fell to 10th after a DNF last week at Las Vegas. But you got drivers like Ryan Butcher and Benjamin Miles. They really need something good to happen to them. Butcher is 20th in the points. Benjamin Miles 32nd in the standings as Charles Sandfer takes a turn out in front. Seeing a little bit more passing for the lead than I expected was going to happen. Baker got around McIntire. Sandfer gets around Baker. It's good to see, especially with the fact we don't have the rules package, which I think would have made it a lot more difficult for drivers to hold on to the top position. Charles Sandfer, after that podium finish last week, jumped up 14 spots in the standings. He's now 13th coming into this race, trying to build off of that. I believe he is the highest in the points of the Retro Racing Enterprises car. J Shelton 15th. She had a top 10 run back at Manassas. So the lone guy out that really needs a good run now for the team is K Mathews, who comes into this race currently 26th. He did manage to finish on the lead lap last week, but I believe he was last car on the lead lap in the Las Vegas finishing results. V Almariego now to the bottom. Heard someone scrape the wall back there. I don't know if it was Cole Baker or maybe it might have been Charles Sandfer, as he's losing a lot of momentum up on the top side. V Almariego out of Sega Motorsports, the second entry out of that team. And now we're going to go 3 wide. Well, nope, actually it's just double wide. Ryan Butcher to the inside of J Shelly. Shelly had a good run going last week at Las Vegas, was up inside of the top 10, and then got involved in a late wreck with William Brock and Diego Yepes, and did not get the finish that really that car, I think, was worthy of getting. And I think the caution might be out. It is. Caution's out for the first time today, which surprises me a little bit. I was kind of expecting this was going to be a race of long green flag runs, but 8 laps in, we get our first yellow flag of the day. Looks like it was a single car incident. I only saw one set of skid marks. Let's see who they belong to. They belong to Austin LaPlante, it would appear. A lot of right side damage, rear damage on that Ally Banking Chevrolet Camaro. Now the question is, who did he make contact with? And our leaders are going to take this opportunity to come down pit road here under caution. Is anyone going to roll the dice and stay out? I'm not really sure what the fuel window is here today for these guys. But as mentioned, 82 laps, a long ways to go in this race. And so I think they're going to be on pit road a couple of times, even with the aid of this yellow flag. So we'll see if V Almariego's team can get him off pit road with the race lead as he comes to pit road in the top position. For now, let's go back and see what brought up the caution for the first time here today at Atlanta. Entry of turn 1 is seeming to be a trouble spot for some drivers there with that safer barrier, the way it juts out. Austin LaPlante going to brush it right there. Car juts down in front of Ryan Brommer, who was 3 wide with him and Diego Yepes. Hooks the 48 around. And up and into the outside wall. Whoa, J Shelton a couple of times almost gets collected. But as I said, there's been a couple of drivers been having difficulty there with that outside wall coming off the D-shaped front straightaway. Cole Baker, before we went to commercial break, I saw that he had some right side damage as well from brushing the wall. So that is going to be a bit of a trouble spot, I think, here today, especially with the fact that the speeds are much higher today with the overcast, cloudy conditions. So we'll keep tabs on that during the course of this race for sure. But tough break to start off the race for Austin LaPlante, as he is our first caution of the day at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Nobody out of the race after that wreck. However, a little bit of extended stay for a few drivers on pit road for some damage repair, including Cole Baker, Austin LaPlante, and also Zach Rogers in the 6, who last week lost the points lead at Las Vegas. Comes into this race 5th in the points, so an extended stay for him. So we'll see if they can make their way back up towards the front of the field. Ryan Butcher came off pit road as the race leader, so he'll lead us back to green over, bless my soul, it's another Blue Oval Automotive Ford. It's T Wright trying to complete the sweep for the drivers. He lines up 2nd. J Shelly will line up with 3rd place. Then it's Dylan Young, Benjamin Miles. That is your top 5. Trent Dunham, teammate V Almariego, 6th and 7th. Julius Anderson in 8th. And then teammates K Mathews and Charles Sandfer will complete the top 10. Going back green flag racing with 70 laps to go here at Atlanta. And that might have been our only caution of the day. We'll have to wait and see. Fanning out down the back straightaway, T Wright shoots to the inside. He's going to go for the lead. He's seen his two teammates in the last 2 weeks go to victory lane. He wants his turn. Here comes a hard-charging J Shelly to the bottom, though. So far, Ford has a win this season, or 2 wins this season. Chevy has 1 with Friesen's Daytona 500 victory. Toyota and Dodge, they're still looking for a 1 in their manufacturing win column. Oh, we got a wreck! Poteet's around! Caution will wave again! And Poteet went straight down towards that inside wall. As Dylan Young's going to win the drag race between himself and Shelly to the line. Boy, I don't know how much speed Poteet scrubbed off before he headed down to that inside safer barrier, but it looked like he was headed straight for it. A Garcia is involved. That car looked like that may have flipped over. Seth Cole, lot of damage. LaPlante involved yet again. J Jefferson's on pit road. Jack Mitchell, Chris Dollerton. I don't think Dollerton can see where he's going. Where is the 31? There he is. Well, maybe he didn't hit the inside wall. Might have saved it. But he was the first car I saw break loose that brought out that caution. Not certain who he made contact with. And everybody's coming to pit road again. Nobody risking it to stay out. It might have been Julius Anderson, now that I think about it, that might have been the one that got into Poteet. We'll find out. We'll go back, take a look at a replay as Ryan Butcher and Ryan Acosta, they are going to make contact. I saw them side by side there, but Butcher is going to get out with the lead. Very congested pit road here at Atlanta. You'd think it'd be more spacious with the grass rather than a wall, but nope, not the case. You got cars beating and banging on each other coming off pit lane here. Long stop for J Shelly in the 71. Let's go back and see what brought out the caution, though. Second time here today at Atlanta. Well, Dylan Poteet may have been the cause of the officials throwing the caution, but he certainly did not sustain the most damage in this wreck. Watch right here coming off the corner. Looks like Julius Anderson may have gotten the wall, or someone ahead of him might have, and he moved low to react. Comes down into Dylan Poteet. They make further contact. That's going to send Dylan Poteet around. Now, I want you to watch back behind him. You see Jesse Turner, and behind him is Chris Dollerton. Now, watch the 43 of Dollerton. As they move up to avoid Poteet, Dollerton's going to get hooked right here by J Jefferson up into A Garcia and Seth Cole. Jefferson's car goes airborne, and his car actually goes up and over. Up on top of Chris Dollerton's hood. There's Jack Mitchell, nowhere to go. Last week's winner, Jordan Lopez, a near miss. Mitchell Collins is stuck up on that outside. Boxed in, as is Keith Batson, as Jefferson comes back down all 4 wheels. That is the second time in 4 weeks that J Jefferson has found himself airborne. He had that, well, 2 wild visits to the air in the Daytona 500. And then here comes LaPlante. Tries to get low, can't do it, and clobbers Jack Mitchell in the 0-1. Could have picked up some spots here on track if he had been able to avoid the wreck, but LaPlante just couldn't get down onto the apron low enough. And that is what brings out the caution. So it was basically a bigger wreck with drivers trying to avoid the spinning Dylan Poteet, which was the initial reason for the caution coming out. 1 to green signal has been given for Ryan Butcher. Going to have a lap car to deal with here in A Garcia. J Jefferson still continuing on as he's back on pit road. They're trying to get that car at least up to minimal speed, but out of the race after that one are going to be the cars of Chris Dollerton, Jack Mitchell, Seth Cole, and Austin LaPlante. This is going to hurt LaPlante, as this will definitely drop him outside of the top 10 in points after a disappointing performance last week as well at Las Vegas. So Butcher lines up the leader. Charles Sandfer is going to be second. Dylan Young, who came to pit road the leader, will line up in third now. V Almariego in fourth. T Dunham fifth. Diego Yepes now up in the top 10 for the first time today in sixth. K Mathews seventh. Michael Norman's in eighth. Ryan Acosta in ninth. And completing your top 10 is going to be M McIntire. Daytona 500 winner Carter Friesen right behind him in 11th place. There's J Jefferson as he's going to line up there on the inside line. He is a lap down and hoping maybe for more of a race of attrition here to pick up more spots. Green flag back in the air. See the 12 and the 5 definitely not up to speed, yielding the outside line to the faster drivers on the lead lap. Best battle is going to be for second into turn 1. Dylan Young getting by Charles Sandfer. Very easy, no contest, no battle put up by the Coke Vanilla Chevrolet. Dylan Young, who was out in front when that caution came out, wants to get back there, trying to get to the inside of Ryan Butcher. Butcher not giving him much of a lane through 3 and 4, and here comes Trent Dunham in the 1, 3 wide going into turn 1 for the lead. And there may have been contact there between Dylan Young and Ryan Butcher as well. I don't think we had a car brush the wall. It might have been the 24. As Trent Dunham breaks out with the top spot, Diego Yepes into second, Norman into third. Dylan Young now falls back to fourth. Ryan Acosta, Kyle Mathews side by side for 5th place. Chevrolets 1, 2, and 3. Sega Motorsports, Unknown Motorsports, and Michael Norman Motorsports. Mentioned earlier about J Shelly, how he was en route to a good finish last week at Las Vegas, got caught up in a late wreck. Same can be said for Diego Yepes. He was en route for a really good finish as well, and he was caught up in that same wreck. And look who's making his way through the field. Last week's winner, Jordan Lopez, taking the checkers at Las Vegas, and now he wants to solidify himself a spot in the playoffs this season with back-to-back victories. He's now up to 4th, and how about Benny Watson now up there battling for 5th? Watson comes into this race 7th in the point standings. J Qualls going to make it 3 wide for 5th place, puts his teammate Ryan Acosta way up on the top side, Watson in the middle. So we got about maybe 25 cars up in this lead group that are up to speed. Make that 22. And we got some stragglers back here. K Batson, T Wright. These guys might have had a little bit of difficulty getting around the slower cars of A Garcia and J Jefferson, perhaps. William Brock back here, along with Benjamin Miles, J Shelton, who gets the wall off that corner. Zach Rogers, Mitchell Collins, Levi McIntire, who started on the pole back in 30th. There's Ryan Brommer, Cole Baker, and there's Dylan Poteet. I don't know about Baker and Poteet if they're up to speed or not. Both of them sustained damage. Baker hitting the outside wall on the first green flag run. Poteet bringing out the second caution after contact to himself and Julius Anderson. And there is Anderson right there in the 4. There's Garcia, there is Jefferson, and the leaders are closing on them. Oh no, Jefferson's going to go side by side with Garcia. That blocks up the track. Shades of what happened last week at Las Vegas. Which line's going to move? J Qualls trying to make a 3rd lane, and it's going to work. He's going to get to the lead. And everybody else getting wadded up behind J Jefferson. J Shelly trying to go around the outside. Turner's going to try and forge to the inside. Inside line's going to move. Shelly's going to lose a lot of spots. He's boxed in behind the 5. And they're going to be almost 4 wide going into turn 1 here. This is not a good situation. Shelly gets by now. Diego Yepes trapped on that outside line. Everybody trying to make their way around the 5 and the 12, who are definitely off the pace. As Carson Gum now moves up into the 3rd position. Carter Friesen into 4th behind Turner. And J Qualls may have a good lead right now, but I think he's going to get reeled in very quickly. With the speeds I'm seeing right now, we may not be running the new rules package, but I think draft has been very important here today in terms of the speeds they've been running. I mean, J Qualls' single car going into turn 3, 210 miles per hour. And that's all due to this overcast condition. I think if we had had it sunny and clear, we'd probably be hitting top speed about maybe 198. But with more grip with the cooler track conditions, these drivers are going much faster. And you saw right there, top left of your screen, Jesse Turner closed up the gap between himself and Qualls by a good margin. Carson Gum right there in 3rd, Carter Friesen in 4th, J Gardner in 5th. 2 of our 3 previous winners up inside the top 10 is J Millz trying to get back in the top 30 in points. It's currently in 9th. And that time by, another 2/10 chipped away on Qualls' lead. Jesse Turner trying to close. They're catching up to another slow car. That's Julius Anderson. Qualls going to catch Anderson here in turn 3. He's going to have to take the high road off of turn 4. Jesse Turner does the same, but does it a lot quicker. And now it's only 3/10 separation between Qualls and Turner. Last week, Jesse Turner had a great run at Las Vegas, gained 16 spots in the stands. I believe that was the most of any driver last week, moved from 28th to 12th in points. Finished runner-up to Jordan Lopez last week at Las Vegas, actually. Does not want to finish runner-up again. Carter Friesen just moved into 3rd. M McIntire now up to 4th. Here comes the hometown boy. He ran towards the back for most of the beginning of this race. And now William Brock up there trying to get into the top 5. He will get the spot from Carter Friesen. Trying to win in front of both his and his sponsors. Home crowd here at Atlanta. What a feel-good story that would be for William Brock. Good start to the season. Only 1 top 10 in his first 3 races, but he is 3rd in the points coming into this race as well. So his other 2 finishes outside the top 10 have not exactly been horrible. Right now, Jesse Turner does not seem anxious to make a move on James Qualls. And it's actually working out for them. They are maintaining a pretty good gap, about a 1.25 between themselves and now 3rd place William Brock, but they're coming up on the slow cars again. Jefferson and Garcia, and Qualls around the outside line is going to be able to get the spots. Turner got held up behind Jefferson. Oh, look at William Brock. He tried to shoot the outside, had to slow up. He almost ran over the 12 of Adam Garcia, and again, the lead lap cars are getting boxed in. Teammates Shelly and Carson Gum going to try and get by J Jefferson. They succeed. And again, James Qualls pulls out to a huge lead. Twice James Qualls has found the lane to get past the slower traffic. He forged a 3rd lane to the inside line when they encountered Jefferson and Garcia the first time, and then swung around the outside on the second encounter. Really has not lost a whole lot of momentum to those 2. He did lose a little bit of momentum when he tried passing Julius Andersson. Jesse Turner reeled him in pretty quickly with that. Qualls been doing a pretty good job with dealing with the traffic. Matthew Rodriguez, last car on the lead lap, right now in 33rd. He is exiting out of turn 4. Leader James Qualls was going through turn 1. So I don't think that Qualls is really going to have to deal with any really up-to-speed lap traffic, at least not right now. I think the recurring cars are going to be the 4 of Julius Anderson, the 12 of Adam Garcia, and the 5 of J Jefferson. Caution, I think, is out. It is! We had a spin on the front straightaway. And that was not something Qualls wanted to see. Wreck took place on the front straightaway and then continued up into turn 1. It's our 3rd caution of the day here, nearing the halfway point of this race. James Qualls getting some good lap sled points out in front, though. And now it's going to be interesting to see what the fuel window is for these guys. I'm certain they're all going to come to pit road. If not for fuel, then definitely for tires. This track is so abrasive on the Goodyears. But would this mean they would only have to pit one more time, or can they make it the rest of the way now? That's the big question. Cole Baker, looks like he was involved in this wreck. Oh my goodness, Benny Watson and Ryan Acosta, they were running up towards the front of the field, just inside the top 10. They were collected. Looks like Johnny Gardner may have some damage in the 14. So we had a number of drivers collected up in this one. William Brock's a long ways back there in the 88. He's got right side damage. I think he might have been involved. K Mathews got damage. Ryan Butcher has damage. Now the question is this damage they sustained from brushing the wall going into turn 1 or not? T Wright, the car we're looking at here, has hood damage. We're going to have to see if some of these drivers were innocent victims, or did it just come down to some drivers getting damaged during that green flag run? We're going to find out. Third caution of the day here at Atlanta. Let's see what it was. Well, I don't know if this brought out the caution or if it was the incident in turn 1, but they were 4 wide coming off turn 4. Jessica Shelton, Benny Watson, Vince Almariego, and T Wright. And the contact between Shelton and Watson sends Watson up into Matt McIntire, McIntire into the wall. T Wright, that's where he got his hood damage running in the back of the 7. Let's see if the flagman has the caution out at that point. No, that didn't bring out the yellow. That was not the reason for the caution coming out. Incident takes place down here into turn 1. Oh, K Mathews hooks R Acosta. Down into Vince Almariego, and Baker's going to get hooked around up the track. Nowhere for J Gardner to go. He's pinned to the outside wall. And there's where Watson's going to get into it. Just comes flying in. He never slowed down. Ran to the back of J Jefferson and then slams into R Acosta. Oh, and then Matt McIntire almost. I think he got on the brakes, and the brakes weren't working. The car just was going straight, and he almost went up into R Acosta as well. So a pretty big wreck there. Some pretty hard hits. We had a spin and a save on the front straightaway, and then a wreck over here into turn 1. That's going to take out some drivers, I think, depending on if they're able to continue or not. But that is our third caution of the day. Let's go back for the restart. Well, this caution does a couple of things, as that bubble is really annoying. First thing that it does, it resets the field back up. Everybody's back on fresh rubber, and everybody is no longer spread out anymore, so it's going to make these restarts interesting once again. Second thing it does, it gives us more damaged race cars, which means there's probably going to be more slower traffic for the leaders to have to deal with if we go back into another long green flag run. Julius Anderson and A Garcia lining up there on that inside line. One car they will not have to deal with is J Jefferson. He has taken his car back behind the wall. He will finish in 36th position. Now we do have drivers that are on the tail end of the lead lap. R Acosta, Benny Watson, Cole Baker, T Wright, J Gardner. But remember, they all got some damage in some way, shape, or form, easy for me to say, in that wreck. So it'll be interesting to see if they are up to speed or not, and if they will be bit of a hindrance for the race leaders when and if they catch them. J Qualls' team gets it done on pit road, restarts as the leader. Benjamin Miles in second. Third place is going to be Jesse Turner, Zach Rogers in fourth, Wyatt Quail in fifth. Keith Batson will be sixth, seventh T Dunham, then Michael Norman, Carter Friesen, and pole sitter Levi McIntire complete your top 10s. We're back green flag racing at Atlanta. Top 6, it looks like, got around the slower traffic. Julius Anderson holding up 7th place on back. That was Michael Norman and Carter Friesen, I believe, that just barely got around him just now. As J Qualls continues to show the way, I think he's been out in front the most so far in this race, so I think he would, right now, lock up the bonus point for most laps led. Wow, Benjamin Miles pounded the wall off of turn 2. Nearly lost it in front of Keith Batson, but a great save. Seen a couple of drivers really hit that wall either off turn 2 or into turn 1. And I can't really tell if it aerodynamically kills their car or not. I mean, right here you see Miles still hanging tough with Keith Batson in the battle for 4th. So I don't think it affects him that terrible. Especially with how hard a hit that was for Miles. I mean, he pounded the wall. He knocked it down off turn 2. Speaking of 2, position 2 just changed hands. Jesse Turner getting around Zach Rogers. Rogers trying to get some redemption back for a poor performance last week at Las Vegas that lost him the points lead. And our points leader is not that far back. He scored an 11th, that being Jordan Lopez. So don't be surprised to see him up towards the front in the closing stages of this race. My big question right now is these drivers as far as fuel. They went back green past the halfway point of this race. I don't think they can make it more than 40 laps on fuel. So I think they're going to have to pit at least one more time. So do they split up the final 40-some laps in half? Do they go as far as they can? Do they short pit? It's Atlanta. It's a tire abrasive track. So tires are everything in terms of lap times. So do you pit earlier, have the fresher rubber? I mean, it's going to be an interesting strategy. I thought we were going to be into a long green flag run to the checkers on that last green flag run, and then they decided to go 4 wide in turn 4, and we obviously had that wreck in turn 1. So have we seen the last of yellow flags here? Are we racing to the checkers now? We're going to have to wait and see, as Jesse Turner, again, kind of doing the same thing he did with Qualls back in the last run, before the two got separated, just riding in James Qualls' tire tracks. Might be saving some fuel there. Zach Rogers right there as well. Diego Yepes, Michael Norman, and how about Mitchell Collins up there in 6th? Remember, he was a splitter away from winning the Daytona 500 and came up just short. Split him 3 wide, and Qualls going to get pinned on that outside line. Jesse Turner's going to get away with the lead. So right there, I think James Qualls got played. On that last green flag run twice, James Qualls was able to clear the traffic and pin Jesse Turner. This time, Jesse Turner used the 12 as a pick on James Qualls. Boy, Qualls lost a lot of spots, too. He's still losing spots. I think he's still trapped behind the 12. He is, as is Sandfer and Friesen. Levi McIntire, we know he has a fast car, qualified on the pole for today's race. Right now, he is in that 10th position. And there is Jordan Lopez. Last time by scored in 8th. I think he's up now to 6th, maybe 5th. That's last week's winner and our current points leader, looking good to maybe go 2 in a row. While up front, Jesse Turner may have gotten away from the field momentarily, but Michael Norman reeled him back in. And Norman now hounding that number 47 for the race lead. Mitchell Collins about a 2nd and a quarter behind. Trying to reel them in. They're catching to Benny Watson. Here you see him, hoodless and all, trying to continue on, forge ahead and get whatever points he can. He's going to hold up Jesse Turner. Norman might be able to get a run here if he can make the right move. He's going low. Turner goes low. Norman can't make it 3 wide. He's going to have to follow behind Turner going through turns 3 and 4. Now Collins is going to catch Watson. He's going to make quick work of the 75. So now with that being said, I think Collins might have something for the top 2. Trent Dunham trapped in the outside line. Ooh, he tried to cut down in front of Benjamin Miles, and Miles says, nuh-uh. You cut down, you're going around off my nose. And that's going to drop Trent all the way back to 10th place. He was running up in, I think it was 7th. Great run for Diego Yepes there in that 0 Citgo Chevrolet right now in the 4th position. Diego coming into this race 23rd in points. And I believe looking for his first top 10 finish of the season. Yes, he is. Michael Norman, 14th in the points coming into this race. Been kind of quiet for the first 3 races of the season, but he's right there. Been very consistent. And we already mentioned Jesse Turner coming off the runner-up finish last week at Las Vegas, wanting to win here today at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Right now it's a fight between Fords and Chevys. You do have a lone Dodge in this group. Zach Rogers in the 6. Do not count him out. Drop back here to Trent Dunham. Actually, it's Keith Batson now back in 10th. James Shelly right now in 11th place. Trying to get back up into the top 10. He's the highest running Toyota right now. And this is a battle for 12th. Jose Millz and Dylan Young. Millz trying to bounce back from his DNF of dead last week at Las Vegas. Ryan Butcher, Charles Sandfer, Carson Gum, Ryan Brommer's in this group, along with Wyatt Quail and Carter Friesen. Oh, got a car up in the wall. That's Diego Yepes. And he got caught up in the wall and couldn't get off. He's going to drop out of the top 10 now as the field caught back up to Adam Garcia in the 12. And I'll tell you who was the biggest loser out of all this, and the Yepes Got turned by Millz. Saves it. Almost collected up his teammate Andersson as he did save it in turn 3. Wow, that was close. What a save by Diego Yepes. Oh, and they're going to go almost 4 wide into turn 1, trying to get around Julius Andersson. But the one guy that really lost out big on this run is J Qualls. There he is. Last time by scored in 22nd, trying to fight his way back up to the front. See if he can make a late race charge here as we are closing in on 20 to go, and we've got a lead change. Jordan Lopez. And now Levi McIntire side by side, the pole sitter and the points leader. As Jesse Turner has faded back to 7th, and he was leading the race just moments ago. I can only assume it was either getting held up by Adam Garcia or Julius Andersson, who are going to be the bane of the existence of these lead lap cars, I think, till we get to the checkers, along with Benny Watson. Levi McIntire led the field to green to start this race. He's now back out in front, trying to go coast to coast, pole to win. There's still that question of that pit stop. When are they going to have to make it? I do not think they can make it 40 laps on fuel. We went that green, I think, with 41 laps to go, so I think they are going to have to pit. This is not exactly an easy pit road to get onto. There's a little bit more grip to try and get on with the overcast conditions. Not nearly as slick as it would be if the sun had been beating on it all day, but that doesn't take away from how tricky it is to get on the pit road. Trent Dunham slots into 2nd place now. Zach Rogers in 3rd. Trent Dunham coming into this race 36th in the points, so there's a guy that really wants a good finish. Levi McIntire, he comes into this race currently situated in 29th. Both Trent and Levi last week at Las Vegas dropped 11 spots in the standings, and Zach Rogers, I think he's coming to pit road. Saw the field check up. He's hitting pit lane. This is going to be interesting too because we see Zach Rogers has right side damage. I think he brushed the wall heading into turn 1 at some point. Drivers that have sustained damage on this green flag run, they are going to probably have to spend a little bit extra time on pit lane for their pit stops. That's going to cost them time and positions. Rogers pitting from, I think that was the 4th or 5th position. Throws down the gauntlet, comes down for the fresher tires. Now, what does everybody else do? How long do they go? Do they short pit? With Rogers pitting, that says to me we're in our fuel window. As Trent Dunham makes his way around the slower car of Adam Garcia. Michael Norman, good friend, follows behind in 2nd. Mitchell Collins now slides to 3rd, Lopez to 4th, Turner to 5th, and here comes J Millz. You cannot put down Blue Oval Automotive, it seems. Boa has won the last 2 races. Millz at Manassas, Lopez at Las Vegas, and they've got 2 of their entries up inside the top 10 here, getting into the closing stages at Atlanta. How about Benjamin Miles? Nice to see him having a good run here today. We documented the hardships that Northeast Motorsports has had for 2 of their cars. And right now, looking really good is Benjamin Miles, a guy that comes into this race currently situated 32nd in points. Great run for the Hertz Rent-A-Car Chevrolet. McIntire lost some spots there as Dylan Young got around him, and here we go. McIntyre's coming to pit road. Dylan Young, Miles, Friesen. Trent Dunham, the race leader, came to pit lane, and we had some drivers that like to stay out an extra lap. That turns the race lead over to Mitchell Collins in the 22. He stayed out, so did J Millz, so did Carson Gum, Johnny Gardner, Diego Yepes, and J Shelly. J Qualls leaving pit road. He pitted a lap earlier than everybody else. Look at J Millz come flying in. Boy, I don't know if he made pit road speed or not, but he certainly gained a lot of time on Mitchell Collins. And the 6 drivers that needed to pit, they are on pit road now. So we're going to drop and find Trent Dunham, who is leaving pit road side by side with Michael Norman. This could be the battle for the lead, and Trent has to give it up. Norman on the outside line as Trent got tight on the bottom. could be the battle for the race lead here between the 3 and the 1. I remember I said before, it looked like the only slow cars that really were going to have to be dealt with before were going to be Andersson and Garcia. Well, now that the field's getting spread out, this is going to make it even more interesting with more up-to-speed drivers possibly holding up the race leaders. V Almariego. There's Collins. I think Collins got out ahead of Norman. I think Mitchell Collins is going to be the race leader, with J Millz in second, waiting for the ticker to update itself. And indeed, Mitchell Collins is out in front. J Millz is into second. They have just lapped J Shelton. Michael Norman would be third. Now having to deal with Cole Baker. Trent Dunham currently in fourth. Ryan Butcher is fifth. Sixth is Carter Friesen. Seventh is Jesse Turner. Looks like Benjamin Miles had to spend a long time on pit road getting damage repaired. Eighth is Matthew Rodriguez. Where did he come from? Dylan Young right now in ninth, and currently 10th is, Levi McIntire. Matt McIntire is 11th. Johnny Gardner is 12th, now taking 11th place from Matt. 13th, William Brock. 14th, Carson Gum. J Qualls there in 15th. Caution might be out. We have a spin on the back straightaway. And it's going to be J Millz and Julius Anderson. Is that a yellow? It is. Caution is out. And that is going to really mix things up. And I think Shelton, she was still on the lead lap. I think she got around Michael Norman. Shades of last week at Las Vegas. Shelton was ahead of the race leader at the time, then Jordan Lopez, to finish that race on the lead lap. And she was ahead of Michael Norman here just before that caution came out. So she's going to be back on the lead lap. And this is going to make things very interesting, because we will have a restart with less than 10 laps to go. That means everyone will line up single file. And we've got a couple of lap machines now there with V Almariego and Cole Baker between Norman and Dunham. And I saw Mitchell Collins on pit road in the 22 as well. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe back when we did that cycle through the field, Collins was the leader and Millz was second. Did the leaders just get LaPaged? We're going to find out. Pit road's open. Nobody's coming to pit road. They're good to go on fuel. They want to keep their track position. Let's go back and see what brought out the caution. A late caution here at Atlanta. I can't believe I'm saying this. They wrecked battling for the lead. Julius Andersson had nothing to do with this. They were trying to lap J Shelton, who was up to speed. She's ahead of these race leaders. And just watch off the corner here. Mitchell Collins overdrives it, gets the wall, comes down, clips Julius Andersson. The two of them lock bumpers. Collins back up into the wall. Millz going to get into him right there. And he's going to go around for a spin on the back straightaway. They wrecked while battling for the lead. Did not think that those words were going to come out of my mouth. And as J Millz spins down to the inside, you can see everybody behind, third place on back, take evasive action, jump up to the top side to avoid. And I believe the 4 of Julius Andersson had come off pit road, was merging back onto the track. And I believe he's the one that's going to clobber the 98 here. We'll see. Yeah, you see Anderson's down there because he was going to merge back on track, and I don't think he was expecting there was going to be a car down in his merge lane. And clobbers J Millz. Well, Millz was looking like he was going to have a good finish here today, bouncing back from a dead last finish last week at Las Vegas, and wrecks from the second position. Collins, who was leading, had to come to pit road to repair damage for hitting the wall twice. That turns the lead over to Michael Norman, and this is going to be a wild restart with less than 10 to go. Well, we haven't gotten the 1 to green signal yet. I'm going to take this opportunity to set the field for you and what we have for what will be a less than 10 laps to go shootout. Looks like if we do get the 1 to green signal this time, it will be 8 laps remaining in this race. Michael Norman was running third. He was gifted the lead from what we saw with Collins having to pit and J Millz wrecking. Second place is going to be Trent Dunham, but it's going to be a single file restart. The lap cars will intermingle with the lead lap cars. So V Almariego and Cole Baker, they will line up between Norman and Dunham. It looks like we will have at least one more lap of caution. So Dunham will line up in second place, but he's going to have to get by the traffic. Ryan Butcher's going to be third. Fourth is going to be Carter Friesen. Fifth, Jesse Turner. This brings all these drivers back up into the hunt for this win. Sixth is going to be Matthew Rodriguez. Seventh is going to be Dylan Young. Eighth will be the pole sitter Levi McIntire. Ninth is going to be Johnny Gardner, and Matt McIntire will complete the top 10. William Brock is 11th. Carson Gum 12th. James Qualls now up to 13th. 14th place is Kyle Mathews. 15th is going to be Ryan Brommer. Charles Sandfer in 16th. 17th, the points leader Jordan Lopez. 18th, J Shelly. 19th place is Ryan Acosta. He's got quite a bit of damage on his machine, though. Wyatt Quail lines up in 20th. 21st, T Wright. 22nd, Zach Rogers. 23rd, Dylan Poteet. Jessica Shelton, after being ahead of the leaders when that wreck took place, she lines up in 24th, still on the lead lap, and last car on the lead lap, I believe, as Mitchell Collins right now scored in 31st, and I believe he is off the lead lap. So 24 cars still on the lead lap. You've got Almariego, Baker, Miles, Haas, Batson, Yepes, Collins, Watson, and Garcia. They are all off the lead lap. Green flag back in the air. J Millz, the only one, along with Julius Andersson, out of the race after that wreck. And as I stated, we are going back green with 8 laps to go. Trent Dunham made quick work of Cole Baker. Now he's got his teammate, Almariego, to deal with. Might have bigger things to worry about. Ryan Butcher's going to go for second. Strike that. Ryan Butcher's going to go for the lead. Almariego forcing the hole, gets back on the lead lap. Butcher follows him through to the top position. Here comes Carter Friesen, 3 wide for the lead into turn 1. Friesen, Butcher, the lap car of Almariego. There's Jesse Turner. Here comes Matthew Rodriguez. Like I said back when we were doing the through the field, where the heck did he come from? Benjamin Miles in the 25 is off the lead lap. The 42 of Almariego is off the lead lap. The 8 of Matt Haas is off the lead lap. So some of these drivers, they will not be winning this race, but they can certainly play a factor into who's going to win. As Friesen, who started out the season with a victory in the Daytona 500, he wants to be the first 2-time winner on the season. Jesse Turner finished runner-up last week to Jordan Lopez. He does not want to be a bridesmaid again. And Ryan Butcher right there trying to get what's been a mediocre start to the season off the ground with a victory here today. Brushing the wall there was Carter Friesen. Slows his momentum into turn 1. Jesse Turner goes to the point. We got a car on the apron back there. I think that was Levi McIntire. He saved it though. And we are still green. It's a battle back here for the 8th position. Look at this, 3 wide, 4 wide, closer to the front of the field. Dylan Young making some moves as he's now up into the top 5. Now Matthew Rodriguez going to take second place away from Ryan Butcher. Or will he? Can he clear him off turn number 2? Not quite clear on him. Butcher's still alongside the right rear quarter panel. Looks like Matt Rod will get the spot here through turn 4. Now he sets his sights on Jesse Turner. Close quarter racing behind him there is Dylan Young all over the rear quarter panel of Ryan Butcher. You got Trent Dunham down there in the bottom trying to fight back to the front. Here comes Johnny Gardner in the 14. He's now up inside the top 10. Oh no, slow cars in the closing stages here. With 2.5 to go, it's Adam Garcia holding up the whole front of the field. Who's going to make the move to get by? Look at Miles up around the outside, but he's not on the lead lap. And now he's going to get boxed in. Top 3 going to break free. Then the lap car of Haas, then Dunham, then Gardner. That's your top 5. Next time by will be the white flag lap. If you're going to make a move, you got to make it now. Matthew Rodriguez there in second. Will he dive to the inside of Turner? Butcher is there as well. Top 3, then a lap car. Then 4th place, Trent Dunham. Off turn 4, white flag in the air. 1 more lap to go. We will race back to the checkered flag. Jesse Turner, second place last week, up to 12th in points. So we had a wreck over here, but we're still racing back to the checkers. Got a wreck in turn 1. Are we racing back? Oh, the caution is out. The caution was out. They did not cross the line. Turner's going to win the race under yellow. I thought that since the white flag was displayed and the flagman was not holding a yellow and a caution, that we were actually going to get back to the checkers, but a wreck on the final lap just before coming to the white flag, is going to end this race under yellow, and Jesse Turner is going to pick up his first win of the season and take the checkers under the yellow flag here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Turner, bridesmaid last week, he's a bride here today at Atlanta. And I don't know who was involved in that wreck that brought out that last yellow flag. Mitchell Collins back behind the field there. He might have been the reason for it, but I'm not certain. Well, what we'll do, since this was a yellow flag that did play a significant factor into who was going to win this race, we'll go back and see what happened. Second straight week, unfortunately, that a race is going to end under caution, but it's the second straight week as well that a Ford Mustang is the beneficiary and the eventual winner of the race. Turner was about half a car length away from winning under caution last week at Las Vegas, came up just short to Jordan Lopez, not this week, as he will take the checkered flag here at Atlanta. We'll show you full finish results in a moment. Let's go back and see what brought out our final caution of the day. And things were just wadded up here as they were trying to make their way around the slower car there of Adam Garcia. This was just around inside the top 10 too, I believe. We're watching Carter Friesen in the 37. He's going to make a move down on Benjamin Miles. Michael Norman was already there. So Norman hooks Friesen down the track into Carson Gum. And then they just kind of lock bumpers and they just slide up the track. Nowhere for Sandfer to go. He gets put up into the wall. And then you look on the left side of your screen there. There's Trey Wright making contact with James Qualls, who gets up into Kyle Mathews. I thought Qualls got wrecked. Oh, there it is right there. Wyatt Quail got into Trey Wright. Sends him up into Qualls. D Poteet collected up as well. That's a hard hit in the outside wall for the 11. But I think that something else happens to Qualls as well, because he was actually on pit road with the hood all crunched up on his machine. Oh, wait a minute. Is he going to slide right down in front of Carson Gum, perhaps? Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen right there. There's the shot. Wow, that's a hard hit. All these drivers were en route for most of them to finish up in the top 10, maybe top 15. And after taking the white flag, they had just crossed the line for the white flag lap. They wrecked there. Now my question is, oh, they hadn't. That was actually 2 to go. I was gonna say I thought that the leaders had crossed the line before the wreck took place, but that was actually hitting the line for 2 laps to go. That was not actually for the white flag. And at the time of the caution coming out, you can clearly see Jesse Turner was out in front. And right here is where he comes and takes the white flag and the caution flag. We didn't see both flags, just saw the one. I wish they had actually thrown the caution rather than the white so we'd have known. But this is where he crosses the line to win the race under the cautions. Go back now and take a look at the full finish results from today's race. So as the standings are official, Ford wins its 3rd race in a row. It's the first win of the season for Jesse Turner, and it's a single-car team. So it's the 2nd time this season that a single-car race team has won. Friesen was the first one to do it in the Daytona 500, and Lake Effect Autosport gets it done here today with Jesse Turner behind the wheel. Matthew Rodriguez gets his best finish of the season as he'll end up in 2nd. Ryan Butcher brings it home in 3rd. Trent Dunham will finish in 4th, and Johnny Gardner up there into the top 5 late for the 5th position. Dylan Young will finish in 6th. How about Jordan Lopez? Came in the points leader. Solid 7th place run for him. He'll probably keep the points lead as he'll get 7th place. Zach Rogers in 8th. How about Jessica Shelton? Shelton was in danger of going a lap down as we closed in on 10 laps to go, battled back from, what did she restart, like 22nd, 23rd? And she finishes in the 9th position. What a great performance for her. And Michael Norman going to finish the day out in 10th, had a few laps out in front, and he gets a top 10 run here today. James Shelly will bring it home in 11th. 12th will be Matt McIntire. Pole sitter Levi McIntire, great day at Atlanta, so he'll finish 13th. Ryan Brommer was 14th. And despite being up in that outside wall, Charles Sandfer with the pancake machine is going to bring it home in 15th place. His teammate Kyle Mathews in 16th. William Brock, his home track, gets a 17th place run. Wyatt Quail and teammate Ryan Acosta 18th and 19th. And Carter Friesen, who was involved in that wreck that brought out the yellow that ended the race under caution. He'll finish in 20th. Last cars finished on the lead lap, T Wright and D Poteet. And then everybody else finished off the lead lap or out of the race. M Haas, V Almariego, Benjamin Miles, Diego Yepes, K Batson, Cole Baker. A good portion of these drivers are drivers that spent a long time on pit road for their green flag pit stops, having to repair right side damage from brushing the wall either in the entrance of turn 1 or off turn 2. Mitchell Collins finished in 29th. Carson Gum, 2 laps down, along with J Qualls, 30th and 31st. They were involved in that wreck with 2 to go as well. Benny Watson also finishes 2 laps down in 32nd. Adam Garcia, while he foraged on, and he was a bit of a moving chicane for most of the leaders, probably a lot of drivers not too thrilled with him. He will finish in 33rd, though, and then out of the race after, I think it was 5 cautions here today, are the cars of J Millz, Julius Anderson, J Jefferson, Chris Dollerton, Jack Mitchell, Seth Cole, and Austin LaPlante. So after today's race, no doubt about it, I think that Jordan Lopez is going to keep the points lead. It'll be fairly close, though, I think, between himself and Jesse Turner with the point standings bonuses that Turner's going to get with the win here today. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Hope you guys enjoyed this race, though. If you did, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown you full picture results, and these are your point standings heading into next week, where we are going to be going racing in the desert. The rules package comes back. We are going racing at the newly reconfigured Phoenix International Raceway. I still call it that way. I know it's called ISM over in NASCAR, but I refuse to call it that. It's going to be the Phoenix International Raceway as long as I'm doing the races, and it's sure to be a lot of fun as well. I had these guys, they had a testing session out there, and the racing was incredible. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. But so far, 4 races, 4 different winners. We got Carter Friesen, J Millz, Jordan Lopez, and Jesse Turner. Those 4 of the drivers, they're going to be in the 16-driver chase for the championship. We're going to have to wait and see. Till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NCAA Off-Playing Racing at its best. So long from Atlanta.